friends, it's Jasmine, your Vancouver, Washington Realtor extraordinaire. I help people buy and sell homes all over Southwest Washington and the Portland Metro. And if you're planning a move, reach out. Call me, text me, email me, whatever is easiest. I work with a lot of people who are relocating, especially from places like Hawaii, California, and Florida, and try to figure out where they'd actually feel at home here. And I'd love to help guide you through that process too. Because today, we're talking about something I see all the time, especially with clients moving from out of state, the unexpected regrets that can come up after you relocate to the Pacific Northwest. Now, don't get me wrong, living here is incredible, but it's also not for everyone, and sometimes people get caught off guard once they've already moved. So in this video, I'm breaking down the top 5 things people tend to regret after relocating to this area, and how you can avoid making the same mistakes. If you're coming from Hawaii or just craving a change of scenery, this will give you a much clearer picture of what real life is like here, not just the highlight reel. And if any of this hits home, reach out. I'm here to help. All right, we're starting with the obvious, the weather. If you're coming from a place like Hawaii, California, or Florida, you might think you know what rain is. But here in the Pacific Northwest, it hits a little different. I'm not talking about big, dramatic storms or heavy downpours every day. I'm talking about weeks, sometimes months, of light drizzle, low clouds, and gray skies that just hang around. And I don't say that to scare you. I say it because I've lived it. I moved here from Honolulu, where even if it rained, you'd usually get sunshine 5 minutes later. Here it can be gray all day. And for a lot of people, that's an adjustment, emotionally, mentally, and even physically. What I hear from clients all the time is, I knew it rained, but I didn't expect it to feel so blah in the winter. The darker days, shorter daylight, and lack of sun really do affect people, especially if you're used to waking up to blue skies and warm air. Now here's the thing, the weather isn't bad, it's just different. Once you learn to work with it, not against it, it becomes a lot more manageable. People here embrace the cozy. They invest in warm lighting, good rain jackets, and yes, vitamin D. They go for walks anyways. They light candles, make soup, lean into it. And once spring hits, it's unreal. Everything's green, the flowers show off, and the sun feels like a reward. But you've got to get through the gray season to really appreciate it. So if you're thinking about making the move, just be honest with yourself. Ask, how do I handle long stretches without sun? What kind of environment makes me feel grounded? Because the weather here will shape your day-to-day life more than you think. And if you're prepared for that shift, you'll be in the way better place emotionally. Another big regret I hear from people, especially those moving from out of state, is moving here without really exploring first. And I get it. When you're making a big move, sometimes you're just trying to make it work. You're looking at homes online, checking commute times, maybe watching videos like this one, and it's easy to feel like you've got enough info to go for it. But here's the truth. You won't know if a neighborhood feels right until you've physically been there. I've had clients who were completely set on a specific neighborhood, sometimes even under contract, and then they finally go visit in person and go, oh, this isn't what I imagined at all. Sometimes it's small stuff, like the street being louder than expected or the houses being a lot closer together. Other times it's much bigger, like realizing the area doesn't have a grocery store nearby or that it feels just too rural, too quiet, or not walkable in the way they'd hoped. I always say this, you're not just buying a house, you're buying into a lifestyle. What you do on a Saturday morning, where you grab coffee, what your commute feels like, how your kids walk to school, whether you feel safe walking your dog at night, those things don't show up on a listing. If you can swing it, come out for a short trip before you commit. Drive through different neighborhoods at different times of the day, go during a weekday, not just the weekend when everything feels relaxed. Walk into a grocery store, sit at a local cafe, drive your potential commute. Listen to the noise level, see how people interact, check the traffic lights, all of it. And if you can't come in person, that's okay too. I work with a lot of buyers who are shopping remotely, and we just take extra time to dig into those little details. I'll give you my honest take on what the neighborhood feels like, what I hear when I'm standing in the backyard, what the parking situation really is like at 6 p.m. You deserve that kind of insight, whether you're buying from across the country or right down the street. The bottom line is, moving blindly based on online listings or Google Maps can lead to real disappointment. You don't want to get here and realize the home is fine, but nothing around it fits how you actually live your life. So if you're not sure where to start or what areas might feel like a good fit, reach out. I'd love to help you explore your options, even from a distance, and make sure you land in a place that actually feels like home. This is one that catches a lot of people off guard, especially folks moving from places like Hawaii or California. They assume that because housing prices are lower here, the overall cost of living will be too. And while that's partially true, it's not the full story. Yes, real estate here is generally more affordable. You can get way more house for your money in Vancouver than you could in Honolulu or the Bay Area, no doubt. But that doesn't mean your monthly expenses are automatically going to feel light. Let's start with property taxes. In Clark County, you're looking at about 1% of the assessed value, and in some areas, especially newer developments or places with school bonds, it can be even higher. A $600,000 home might come with a $6,000 or $7,000 annual property tax bill. That's something a lot of buyers aren't expecting. And then there's utilities. Heating costs are a real thing here. We actually use our heat a lot. Between October and April, your electric or gas bill might be double or even triple what you are paying in a warmer climate. Water, sewage, garbage, it all adds up. If you're moving from Oregon, there's no sales tax there, but Washington has one. It's just over 7% in Clark County. And if you're working in Oregon but living in Washington, you might still be paying Oregon income tax. So depending on your situation, you could be paying more in taxes than you expected. Insurance can be a bit different too. You might be paying less for homeowners or car insurance than in a major metro, but more than you were in a lower risk area. And if you're used to things like HOA fees covering major exterior maintenance, that's not always the case here. Some HOAs here are super minimal and leave most things to the homeowner. So while yes, your mortgage might be cheaper, your overall monthly expenses might not drop as much as you think. That doesn't mean it's not worth it. For a lot of people, it still pencils out and they gain way more space, privacy, and quality of life. But I always tell my clients, run the full picture. Don't just go off the home price. Look at utilities, property taxes, commute costs, and everything in between. That's where I come in, helping you make a plan that fits your real budget, not just the one Zillow makes look good on paper. And if you're unsure how it might shake out based on your lifestyle, I'd love to walk through that with you. This one's real. And honestly, it's not something people usually think about until after they've moved. If you're coming from somewhere like Hawaii or even certain parts of California, you're probably used to a strong sense of community, where people know your family, your neighbors talk to you, and you feel like you belong. So when you move to a new place, especially somewhere like Vancouver or the Portland Metro, it's easy to assume that kind of connection will just happen. But here's the thing. It doesn't always work out like that, especially if you're new to the area, don't have kids in school yet, or you're working remotely. It takes time and intentional effort to build a real community here. I've had clients tell me, I love my house, I love the neighborhood, but I just kind of feel isolated. And I felt that way too. When I first moved from Hawaii, it was a huge shift. I went from being surrounded by people who just got me, who understood the culture, the energy, the shared experiences, to starting over in a place where I didn't know anyone. That was hard. And it wasn't that people aren't friendly, not at all, but it just took time. In Hawaii, people invite you in quickly. Here, folks are nice, but sometimes it takes a while for them to open the door beyond, hey, how's it going? So if community is something that really matters to you, and I think for most people it is, just know that it's something you'll need to be very intentional about. Say yes to things, even when they make you feel awkward. Go to the neighborhood barbecue, join a workout class, walk your dog at the same park every day, smile at people at the farmer's market, show up consistently, and little by little, it will start to happen. I've seen people build incredible communities here, including myself. People who have made lifelong friends through their kids' school, their church, their running club, or just by being a regular at their local coffee shop. It is absolutely possible, but it probably won't happen overnight. So if you're someone who thrives on connection, don't just think about square footage and lot size. Think about what it'll take to feel at home, not just housed. And if you're trying to figure out which areas have more of that community feel, that's where I can really help. This one happens more often than you think, and it usually comes from a good place. People get excited. They finally decide to move. Maybe they're tired of renting, or they've been watching the market from a distance and they're ready to jump in. So they start looking at homes online, they reach out to a random agent, or they go to an open house and decide to write an offer that day. And sometimes it works out. But a lot of the time, those same people circle back to me months later saying, "We wish we had slowed down," or "We didn't realize what we were signing up for." When you're relocating, especially to a new part of the country, it's not just about finding a house that looks good in photos. It's about understanding the neighborhood, the commute, the school zones, the vibe. It's about knowing what's normal in this market, how to write a strong offer without giving up every protection you have as a buyer. It's about seeing red flags in a listing that most people would miss. That's the kind of guidance you only get from someone who really knows the area and who actually takes the time to listen to what you're looking for. I've had clients tell me they felt rushed by other agents, or that they bought in the wrong neighborhood because they didn't realize how far out it really was, or that they didn't know they could negotiate certain things like seller's credits, inspection repairs, or even a roof replacement because no one explained it to them. That's the kind of regret that doesn't show up right away, but it hits hard when the excitement of closing fades and real life starts to settle in. So if you're thinking about buying, please don't go at it alone, and don't feel like you have to rush. There are always going to be homes, but the right strategy, the right timing, and the right agent in your corner, that can make the difference between a successful experience and one that actually feels exciting and empowering. And if you don't know where to start, just reach out. I'm here to help. I just want to end with this. And it's not exactly a regret, but it's something I think everyone needs to hear when they're making a big move. Give yourself grace. Relocating, whether it's across the state or across the ocean, is a huge transition. You're not just changing addresses, you're changing routines, relationships, weather, time zones, grocery stores, all of it. Even if you're excited, it can still feel overwhelming, and it's okay to not have it all figured out right away. Some days you'll love it, other days you'll wonder if you made the right choice, and that's normal. That doesn't mean you messed up, it just means you're human. When I moved from Hawaii to Vancouver, it took me a while to adjust. There were moments I felt totally out of place. There were moments I missed home so much it physically hurt. And there were also moments I felt proud, grounded, and excited for what was ahead. It's all part of it. So if you're in that messy middle, or if you're just thinking about making the leap, be kind to yourself. You're doing something brave, you're building a new chapter, and it's okay if that comes with a little discomfort. And just remember, you don't have to do it alone. If you're planning a move to Vancouver, Washington, or anywhere in the Southwest Washington or the Portland Metro, and you're trying to figure out what this transition might actually look like for you, reach out. Call me, text me, email me, whatever feels easiest. I help people navigate this move every single week, and I'd love to help you too. Whether you're just starting to explore neighborhoods, still weighing your options, or you've got a timeline in mind and want to get serious, I'm here for all of it. And if you're not quite ready to chat just yet, I've also linked my buyer questionnaire below. It's free, it's simple, and it gives me a better sense of what you're looking for so I can guide you in the right direction, even if you're still early in the process. Thank you so much for watching. And if you found this video helpful, I'd be so grateful if you shared it with someone who might be planning a move too. What part of relocating are you most nervous about? And what are you most excited for? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.